Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I hope everyone is doing well. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Hope everyone is having a great Friday. Today, as we know, is Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 7. It's episode 14, Navigating Friendships. So we're finally going to hear a little bit about one of these cruises that the ladies were invited on. It came into fruition finally after a lot of premonition from Sir Richard Branson. We saw him talking to Maddie Saul last week. He's invited the ladies for 2 days at sea, supposedly to commemorate the wedding anniversary or the wedding of Steve and Maddie Saul. And Maddie Saul is claiming that Sir Richard Branson and she are friends. So, one second, let me turn my camera off. I see the closet open in the background. I want to make sure the sound and everything is okay. I like to have the room door open, the closet door closed. And let's see. All right, here we are. Thank you again for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Welcome in. Please click the like button. And if you are not a member, please, not a member, but if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And I appreciate that so much. Okay, I'm still working with this angle. All right, here we are. Thank you, everyone. And this is episode number 14 of the 7th season. Of course, we know that our Real Housewives of Miami ladies are special because they went to Peacock to kind of rebuild their numbers back, and here they are again. Hearing the numbers are low again. This season has been okay. I wasn't pleased with it at first because of what happened between Julia and when she attacked my poor sweet Gertie. But Gertie is trying to move on from it. The ladies are trying to move on from it. We have a couple of nonsensical, silly fights that don't mean anything that they have moved on to. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. The first scene of this episode, we have Gertie. Gertie is encouraging Stephanie to make up with the ladies. Gertie just asking her. She said, how is everything going with Alexia, with Maddie Saul? She names all of the ladies because, as we know, Stephanie had some little bit of conflict with almost everybody, with the exception of course, Larsa. So New Money and Larsa are stuck together like glue. I'm calling Stephanie New Money now because of the way she acted with that jet. Everyone else is actually, they're okay now. Welcome in, Mama Bees, my moderator. Thank you so much for coming in and speaking with everyone. Sharon Gobble, good afternoon. Thank you for coming in. This is our Real Housewives of Miami. Just started the review, picked up where we left off. They're back in Miami, but we have Gertie encouraging New Money, Stephanie, about making up with the other lady. They do a lot of the mini scenes, which I like. It kind of just gets us up to speed on what's going on this week. They're back in Miami. Alexia calls Larsa. So we have them on FaceTime. I get to see one of my favorite young adults or children of one of the cast, one of the housewives, I'll say. Frankie. Frankie is in the background, of course. He's stuck like glue with Alexia because she has been away. She's been in Sevilla. And so when Alexia calls Frankie, he says, hello, darling, to Larsa. Of course, all the ladies, including myself, we love Frankie. Alexia in her confessional is doing something that I still don't understand. She's stating something as if it's fact when I don't believe that it's true. She's saying Lisa and Larsa are feuding with each other. Yeah, I don't believe they're feuding with each other. I think Larsa has a couple of things against Lisa. And because she has nothing else going on that she's willing to share, she's pushed that onto the viewer and she's pretending like that's something that we want to hear about. So it's a one-sided beef that Larsa and Lisa have going on. We have Julia. She's still throwing her daughter under the bus, y'all. She's crying to Maddie Saul, and she's telling her, and then she hung up from me the other night. She said, I love you. And it was like the first time. So Julia is treating these young ladies as if they're doing something wrong by being surprised and kind of removing themselves a little bit from this situation where Julia has changed the dynamic of their family against their wishes, against their knowledge. And now she's asking for forgiveness instead of permission. Not that she needed permission, but I've noticed a lot of times people will do that. They'll try to see how you feel about something. You'll let them know how you feel. They will zoom past your boundary and then get upset when you enforce it. But her and her daughters are trying to get back on the right track. So Julia is excited. She's kind of crying. And I do still think she's kind of using this storyline for using storyline for the storyline. Because y'all, I don't think Julia has all that much going on either. I don't think Martina really likes being on TV or being seen with her. She knows that Julia wants it so badly, she's willing to, but they're both very unpleasant people. And due to the repeated attempted assaults and actual assaults of her castmates, I would like to see Julia, if not paused, gone altogether. I would love that. Production shows new money. She's yelling like a banshee about the plane. She's lying to Alexia about, what kind of person do you think I am? Because when she was talking about it, she had the nerve to say she didn't say that. But we saw a couple of times with the help of production, Stephanie did say, and if they don't respect me on my plane during that 22-minute flight, y'all, they can either get their own way back or they can walk back. That's what she said. This was like a filler week, Mama Bees. So they just got back from all that went on in Spain. It was kind of boring. And they're getting ready for this 2-day cruise. That's almost like a 3-hour tour that Gilligan and them went on, a 2-day cruise. 3-day cruises are, I love cruising and I'll take a 3-day over none, but they're so short by the time because I like to unpack, but even those you don't really unpack. You get that one formal night. You might have a day at sea or you might have 2 ports, and it's really just you get on board that first night, and then you got the next day, that's your second night, and then you're heading back the third night. So yeah, they're going on a 2-day. Cece, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. She came in speaking to everybody. That's one of the moderators. We see Kiki and her dad. I think his name is Levester. Kiki has a nice looking dad. He's pretty young. Haitians age very well. I think it's the melanin. So they go to brunch. Lavis, I wrote down Lavis. Okay. Lavis is trying to pronounce sushi, but he's doing something funny with the H, y'all. I love the way English as a second language, or especially when they're still using their mother tongue, which in their case, they speak in English for us, but then they effortlessly flip over to patois, French-based patois, which is really pretty. He's pronouncing the sushi I put with no H, so I don't know what Mr. Lavis was doing. Kiki was claiming he eats too much Haitian food all the time, like rice. She jokes that he is so Haitian. I'm not offended because she's Haitian. I know that there are a lot of jokes like that in cultures that you can make that someone outside of it could not make. So Kiki could say that to her father, and that is okay. He's like, that's all I like. I don't really like sushi. He's calling it sushi instead of sushi. She's like, give it a try. You might like it. She orders him some kind of, I forgot what Kiki ordered him, but he said he liked it, tartare, some kind of tartare. So we have the confessional Kiki, y'all, bringing up again about her family. Remember, they were threatening her about, what about me, when she sponsored 5 family members to come from Haiti to Miami, and that wasn't enough. Some of the ones left behind, according to Kiki, started to threaten her, and she had to enlist her father. Her father and she were not even close, but he hopped to attention because it must be his family that was being kind of, I won't call him ratchet Kiki, but he got his people together and they stopped bothering Kiki about that. So now Kiki brings up another situation. She cried about one reunion. Production shows us flashbacks of her recounting this story about the stepmother kicked Kiki out, y'all. So that's one of the wicked stepmother situations. It seemed kind of jealous, maybe, of Kiki. Kiki being probably a teen at that time. I think she said she was a teen. The father was okay with it. And the man, y'all, this is what some of us do that I don't like. This man, his daughter was expressing her hurt to her. This is another thing that happened when you let your wife kick me out and you were okay with it. He said, "You're laughing now, but look at the cameras on you." He said it in patois, but they ended up to put a transcript so we knew what he was saying. "You're laughing now, but look at the cameras on you." So Kiki says in her confessional that the kids are not allowed to call. Now Kiki's in her late 30s, y'all, but she said kids are not allowed to call up the parents. He's saying like it's him giving her that hard life that made her who she is. I don't agree with that. Just because Kiki succeeded in spite of him allowing his wife to kick her out, that's a conversation for the father and daughter. And y'all, it was because Kiki was modeling, and some of her pictures were swimsuit type pictures. And that's the only thing we've seen of Kiki. There's never been any allusions to anything else. I think one of the ladies tried to talk about how she got her money, because some of them are haters like that. And I did notice her able to call that yacht up and then call up yacht number 2. And one of her fiancés, I think, owns that yacht club. But Kiki is a model. So Kiki says that's what she does, and I believe her. Salmon tartar, that's what I put down. He and Kiki are still having that difficult conversation. She said that she doesn't ever expect an apology, but they are starting somewhere. I guess we'll have to take that. Wherever Mr. Levesque is at this point, we'll take that from him. But I didn't like some of the way he was talking to Kiki and laughing about her trauma. So we get a scene with Jody. Jody's coming to help Lisa pack and unpack. She is joking that he don't like me too sexy, and he's joking about, yeah, wear dresses down to your ankles. We hear from Lisa that she feels weird that she's not a missus anymore, which tracks. That makes sense. Lisa has 2 young kids. She's been married to Lenny almost 15 years. She is not even 40 yet. So Lisa, in her very formative years, early 20s, was married to a much older Lenny. And now she said it's weird. She does want to be married to somebody at some point, but the person has to want to be married to her. So Lenny, you hear that? Lisa's kind of over Lenny. We find out later Lisa's still wearing her wedding ring because it's a very expensive, beautiful ring. She says she likes the ring, but she's wearing it on the wrong finger. So there's Lisa making a point that matters to only her, makes sense to only her. But I thought that was funny. She claims she's not in a rush to get remarried. They get another joint confessional, Jody and Lisa. Y'all, Jody, we know he's new to confessionals. He's saying things in confessionals that kind of embarrass Lisa. Jody saying this relationship has been tough. We've been fighting over lawsuits and with the different so-called friends or castmates. He said sometimes we fight until we stand in another room. Here's Lisa. Whoa. She called a flag on her play. Lisa put an X up. Lisa cuts the scene with a big X with her arms. Of course, Lisa can't cut the scene, so production's still rolling. Jody realizes she knows more about confessionals than I do. She's probably trying to save me from myself. Yeah, Jody, she's trying to save you from yourself. Because the producers will get them to kind of, you say a little too much. And I think some of y'all be drinking wine. I believe Marisol be drunk in some of her confessionals. Because she says a lot of cringe things that she thinks is cute. Marisol does. So Lisa shushes Jody. Jody says he loves her, but they probably need to see somebody. Lisa ended that scene, y'all. That was a mess. Mama B says she hopes she doesn't marry Jody. He's weird. He has this control thing on. I didn't like him for her at first. Then I changed my mind again as I saw them together. He is kind of a fix-it man for Lisa, and he takes over a lot of things that she needs done. But I go both ways. Does Lisa need someone that does everything? She had that in Lenny until he got tired of doing it, moved on to the next, and kind of left her and the kids hanging. Remember, he's trying to kick the kids out. So if she does marry Jody, I hope it's not soon. And they just date for a while. There's no way I think she should, after being in a marriage that she got in her early 20s and has been in 15 years or so, end up married to someone else, the first real relationship out of this relationship. So I have to agree with you, Mama Bees. I hope she doesn't marry Jody. And he does have his little quirks. I'll give him that. I started out believing about the AC with the bug eyes, and then I found out Larsa is such a big liar that I don't know whether or not any of that was true. His eyes can look crazy at times, so I don't know. Yes, Marisol appears to be drunk. Yeah, I noticed that she talks too much about cockies. One time she had a huge bottle of vodka in one of her, she was using it as a prop in one of her confessionals. I didn't think it was a good idea. And then she was doing another joke I didn't really care for. When she announces to us that Sir Richard Branson is offering her and her friends a trip, she keeps alluding to, oh, there's nothing like having a big dick as a friend. Now she's saying that as Sir Richard. A lot of people use the nickname Dick. That's some C Dick Run, CJ Run type thing, C Spot Run type thing. But I've never known a Richard that used that as his nickname. But in certain culture, they do use that as a nickname. So she keeps joking about this big dick while speaking about her friend Sir Richard Branson. Maddie Salt, stop making the liquor your storyline. It's ridiculous. So then another thing happened in the confessional, which was strange. This was Jody and Lisa. He's talking about, well, now Larsa is upset because she's saying I'm texting her. She texted me first. I knew that. I alluded to that. I thought that she texted him first. He said, but I don't understand how what I did by texting is somehow worse than what Russ did. Why did production insert our sweet Russ, Gertie's wonderful long-standing husband, saying, be respectful, Larsa? So he checked Larsa at some point when the whole group was around. And I guess that was something that the group talked about behind Gertie and Russ's back. Russ can check y'all when you're being disrespectful. And Julia, I think, threw that germ-filled water on Gertie because Russ wasn't there and she didn't know where else to go with her words. I don't know that she would have done it in front of Martina either. I think she tries to be on better behavior because Martina is the clout and the name in that relationship. But Jody, I don't know what you're talking about, that wasn't worse. What you did wasn't worse. I don't think it was bad or terrible for Jody to text Larsa back because she texted him first. But as far as Russ saying, be respectful, Larsa, he can say 3 words to Larsa, who's also always flying up in men's faces and saying whatever she wants to say. So they need to stop. Mama Beast is thinking what I think. She said, I don't know how Marisol has a liver. She always has a drink in her hand. She does. I'd like to see some food paired with that, but I never do. And she's so small. I'm concerned with her. I think that's why she, to me, looks so much older than Adriana. So who is worse, Russ saying be respectful, Larsa, or Jody texting Larsa after she started texting him and then asked him to stop? I don't think either one is worse, but I certainly don't think anything Russ may have said in the past to Larsa is wrong. He didn't say anything bad to or about Julia. He called her a big tall woman standing over my wife, and I don't like it. He said that to Gertie, and then he iced Julia out at a party where Julia tried to come up and lie. Gertie's making me the bad guy. And Russ was just kind of like, good luck with the boys. We see Stephanie. Stephanie has rented a friend from LA. What do y'all think about Anastasia? We find out she's got $1 billion business. That's new money in her confessional telling us about her friend. She didn't say we love each other, we shop together, we have so much fun. She said, she's a boss, I'm a boss, and she's got $1 billion business. So y'all, we see new money with friends after Gertie and everybody alluding to the fact that she may not have friends. I don't believe it yet. So they claim they get along with each other as straight shooting business women. They say, that the only makeup Stephanie wears is Anastasia's, but it's sold out. So Anastasia on cue says, as my good friend, I can give you some of my makeup. Stephanie is, why do I have a Grover voice? It's sold out. She kind of strange, y'all. New money don't know what to do with herself. Are you this big time businesswoman running this $1 billion business? Are you this little 40-year-old ingenue? I don't know. I don't know what Stephanie's doing with herself. I'd like to see when she returns next season, because again, I don't like one season wonders. I don't care for Stephanie. She brings a little something different. I think a lot of it is performative. I'd like to see Stephanie bring her real self. So whatever this is she's doing with the play, all of this, the Birkin inside of a Birkin, too much. Mama Bees, I'm sick of her talking about money. Same. Sharon's laughing. Nobody follows the money. She does, because she had to mention that about her friend. I don't know if I ever had a friend based on what they had. I don't even know. Your friend is your friend. You get on and that's your girl and you love being around each other, do things for each other, or just sit there and chill and text or do whatever you're doing like Marisol and Alexia. But Stephanie, I don't know. We hear from her that she's hosting a Christmas party. Somehow she brings up that she wants drinks served. The drinks are going to be sold at the party, and it's some type of benefit for Kiki's. I didn't really understand it too much. Kiki has some type of foundation that's going to benefit Haiti, or maybe they're just making a donation. They gave the name of the foundation. Stephanie's in that confessional with the wet looking hair and the red dress. She's contemplating children with her old man. She said if her and a friend talked about that. They got all the friend conversation covered from this friend that she has rented. She's saying she thinks about it, but if she were going to do it, she has to freeze her eggs because she's pushing 40, which isn't old, but she got an old man too. So they're dealing with an older man and what he has going on. Even though I hear men always say, American have a baby till he's dead. Yeah, but look at some of these 80-year-old babies. You want an 80-year-old baby? Those children are old. I'm sorry, they're just old. So she also tells her friend that she's having a problem in her new group of friends with delivery. Everything she says is just seen as mean. And it's the same thing with her sisters. Stephanie, leave your twin sisters alone. I think you're lying on them. I think you talk crazy to them. They don't allow it. The parents have chosen you, not because you're right, but because they follow the money as well. So they've taken the side of New Money and her husband against their other children. That's what I think. So the friend is claiming that I think this group is good for you. You'll learn how to soften your delivery. The friend is agreeing with what Stephanie, the friend's assessment is. I do think Stephanie is pretty blunt, but I don't know. I can't say she has bad motives yet. I do think she wanted to come in and do what they're doing on some other franchises. She wanted to come in as a rookie, run up against an OG or veteran and get her name out there. The first OG she ran up against was Alexia, who's not having it. And so now we saw her kind of shift her ear to Marisol. I used to think it was Alexia. Now I think it's Marisol. She may find Marisol as an easier target. Marisol, I don't think is a punk. I think she's boring. I'm tired of seeing her. Why do we get all these Mama Elsa flashbacks? Because then when they put it on with Larsa's face, it's just scary looking. But I don't think that Stephanie and Marisol are a match either. I'm going to see what's going to happen. But I think we're going to see Stephanie start trying to go at Marisol because it just didn't work what she was doing with Alexia. We have confessional Stephanie saying that when she's at sea, she's a different Steph. She floats this thing called nautical Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie. She said she might stay her calm nautical Stephanie. This is kind of like Zen Wen. Remember when Wendy on Potomac, when the ladies got sick of her mouth because they couldn't match her mouth? She came up with this thing called Zen Wen, which I don't believe Zen Wen. I like Wendy, Dr. Wendy, with that quick that had the girl so angry. But instead of Zen Wen, we got nautical Stephanie, who's supposed to be this cool, calm person. So they're doing a 2-day cruise. Come on, Sir Richard Branson. He gave the ship name, the company name, which we knew was Virgin. 2-day cruise on the Virgin Valiant Lady. And then here we have Marisol's cringe line about a good dick fixed everything. Thanks, Richard Branson. Marisol, we're too old to talk like that. Can we not do that? Because I'm a PG channel. I don't like to repeat it, and I don't like you saying it. And I know you think it's cute, and it's a nickname, but Sir Richard Branson, nobody calls that man Dick. So we're not going to do that. Sir Richard Branson. So this is the free cruise. Steph, we get on. Stephanie has a weird look on her face. The people that greet her, she's just like frowning. Why didn't Masood go? Well, I think there's another one with the couples. I answered my own question. Or maybe they didn't film them. I don't know. But Stephanie has a look on her face. This is looking like an episode of Love Boat, y'all. You know that used to be promotion for Princess Cruises. The first time I went on a Princess Cruise, I got a kick out of it because all the commercials and all that kind of stuff, they play all the old songs. They have all the old crew, Captain Stubing, Isaac, all of them in your stateroom. You're going to see that all day. I loved it. We got Gertie, y'all. Gertie's in this black studded leather suit with a beret. Somebody done bedazzled the beret, y'all. It's studded too. Gertie, I don't know. Where would you want to wear for when you set sail? But that was funny to me because I made a note of it. I said, look at Gertie. Okay. So Adriana is upset, y'all. Her birthday's coming up. We don't know if she's 59 or 60. I believe I said she's 60, but then I couldn't find it anywhere. Adriana, don't bury your age. She is in a confessional saying that she stopped having birthdays, acknowledging birthdays at 40. But Adriana is Brazilian, and they are very youth-focused. They age extremely well. They also can get nip, tuck, tweak, and have it look natural. And a lot of focus, of course, is placed on youth. And we find out that she's kind of upset about it. Now, that made me a little bit sad, y'all. Adriana is gorgeous. She's one of the prettiest women on this show. Gertie is saying she doesn't like the fact that Adriana gets upset about her birthday. Age is nothing but a number. That's Gertie in her confessional, doing the Gertie, y'all. She's doing a lot. I want you to look at what 47 is. She gives a couple of poses and gives production a chance to get it right. Gertie doesn't have any bad angles. 47 is 47. Gertie looks gorgeous. the skin, everything is beautiful. So she kind of shows her little different poses for production in honor of being 47. Gertie having her cancer situation and beating cancer. I know she's thrilled to make it to 47 and get her clean bill of health. Adriana's over here looking down. She tells us in the confessional, y'all, she was traded in twice. That's the terminology our Adriana is using. Adriana, we just saw you in Spain, knowing everything about museums and how many languages they speak in this country and over here, Marbella. She knew when they went to Sevilla. And she's upset that she's turning 60 and doggone fine. Adriana, that really upset me. That really upset me. CC saying, I heard some cruise lines will start charging cruisers who don't show up for their dinner reservations. I hope they leave space for you to cancel a few hours ahead of time. Yeah, that CC, sometimes you may fall asleep, or if you just got back on the ship, if that was a port day, it's easy to miss those dinner reservations. Now, if it's that, oh, I wonder if it's the one, some of those restaurants that do that upcharge, they probably would already have your money and not give it back. They do need to give you a few hours cancellation because you know they're going to fill those seats. They have walk-ins, or they give you that little buzzer if you're at one of those restaurants that's hard to get a seat at. You know, cruise lines are coming up with any and everything, just like the airlines, to take your money. Sharon Gobble said, Gertie looks good. She does look good. She's beautiful. But this Adriana age thing, I don't want her to focus on that. And then they showed, of course, Kiki yelling at her, you're too old to act like this. Now, production, you didn't have to do that. They said that in the middle of a fight when Adriana called Kiki ratchet, even though she's trying to amend it to wretched. I thought the microaggressive way of using ratchet was the first thing that she said, but I don't know. I go back and forth because I don't think Adriana would have those bad intentions, but Adriana's smart and she knows the difference between ratchet and wretched. So I don't know. We'll go back and forth, but we get to see Gertie defending. I'm not Gertie, but we get to see Kiki defending herself against that, saying you're too old as a woman, or you're too old to be doing that. And we know that Adriana has a problem with this. Traded in twice. Do you mean the man got a younger woman? Traded in twice. You've traded in a car, Adriana. You don't trade in a woman. I didn't like the fact that Adriana was feeling that way and production's making a thing of it. I don't like that. So I said, oh, Adriana, this makes me sad. Then they showed the Kiki and her argument. Gertie and Adriana are talking because Gertie is real friends with Adriana in real life. I saw a picture of them at Adriana's birthday party, and Gertie's telling her that, you know, her age is nothing but a number. And again, we saw Gertie's confessional where she's looking beautiful. I put Gertie speaks life into her. And I said, y'all never do that for Gertie. We talked about that last week. Gertie's so much a girl's girl. When Larsa Pippen entered the room with her little red dress on, and Gertie said, girl, you look like the emoji. And she did look like the dance emoji. Gertie's the first one to always root for these ladies. So the fact that they could sit there and watch her being assaulted with germ water by Julia, it just hurts. I don't care that she's forgiven. I have not, and I won't. So the ladies are sitting together. They're having a little talk about Spain. They're on the ship. They're at sail away. They had a sail away party. They took them to a higher deck. That ship looked beautiful, y'all. Marisol wants to split up the group again. We get a confession of Kiki saying, I'm getting tired of not being able to meet with all of my friends, because Kiki fancies that she is this buffer and she's friends with everybody. But, you know, we don't know. And I said, Marisol, stop nicking everybody's name. That's offensive. I don't like that. Larsa is Pips. Monkey is over here is Lisa. Now she started calling Stephanie something else. I don't care for that. I think she does that to make herself over familiar and closer to the group than she is. But Marisol, I just find her disrespectful. Alexia says, oh, in this group, we're going to be talking to the wrong people. So I didn't write. Oh, I did. I wrote down the names, but I can't remember like who was who. But we had Kiki, Stephanie, Larsa, and Gertie in one group. So then that puts the Cuban Barbie and her friend, which is Marisol and Alexia, in the other group with Adriana and Julia. Lisa says that this is a new her that's at sea. No, that's not Lisa. I'm sorry. Oh, Lisa says the new her is on time. The nautical Stephanie is the new person at sea. So Lisa's on time. She's in group 2 as well. Madison says, "You're not allowed to embarrass me and get me banned from Dick's Kingdom." Madison, ugh. You're not allowed to embarrass me and get her banned from Sir Richard Branson's kingdom. So Adriana is late. She's not feeling well. Confessional Julia says that, so Julia, were y'all really friends or not? She says, I know it's difficult for Adriana having a birthday. Her birthdays are hard on her. So Julia, you're acting like y'all were never friends, but sometime I'm thinking that she was one of the first ones to accept you. Maybe you were friends. Julia's recognizing Adriana. She showed up late to dinner. Says she's not feeling well, but she just seems kind of down. And they'll be at sea for 2 days. So maybe she's leery of that. I don't know. So Julia saying she knows it's difficult to embrace her birthday. And then she lies. Julia, why you start lying? She said, but other than that, I don't know what's wrong with us. What's wrong with you is that you are now acting like Alexia and Marisol are your best friends, and that you've thrown Gertie to the wayside, also Adriana, who have been very good friends to you. So we have Kiki telling Larsa that Lisa unfollowed Marcus, so it's your turn. You got to kind of make things up with her. Stop going back and forth with Jody. Larsa's lying. She said, I was hurt. The picture of the paparazzi, she lied that I was the one that called them. How am I supposed to know who they are? She gives another one of her little corny confessionals. I think she's the one that Todd said has a script writer that tries to come up with stuff. Because whatever she said, I didn't even write it down. It was so silly. But she was trying to insult Lisa, saying some things that really didn't make sense. I don't believe that Larsa is still this upset about the paparazzi photo. I think she did call them, because there's another photo they took of Marcus. You know what he was doing in that photo, allegedly. Let me put my banner on if I can find it. So yeah, they had a photo of Marcus. They say that Larsa is the one that called the people. So she was trying to break up with him, I guess. So Larsa said that if she apologizes to Lisa, if she gives Lisa an apology this big, Lisa needs to give her an apology that's this big. Larsa, I don't think that's making sense. I don't know what Lisa is supposed to have done to Larsa. We get Gertie in a confessional suggesting muzzles for everybody. I'm with you on that, Gertie. These ladies are doing too much. So Larsa did start texting Jody first. He mentioned that in their joint confessional, which I knew. Lisa, we go back to her group. She's stumbling over the word literally. She can't really get it down, whether it's literally, or literally. So they're doing this thing with Lisa, kind of just being young and silly and funny. So she's still mispronouncing literally. Stephanie asking her why is she so quiet? No, someone asked Stephanie why she's so quiet. She said, this is nautical, Stephanie. So now we got Stephanie. Instead of the plane, she's on this nautical theme. I wish Larsa would go away. She has no storyline, none that she's willing to share, Mama Beast. How many more of this young man type thing can we show? Is this one being seen in public with her yet? She got somebody else's son, not Marcus Jordan, but another one. Y'all, they had a clip one time. Supposedly Michael Jordan and Juanita are a little ashamed and disappointed in Marcus, allegedly, supposedly. So he was going into some type of big event, sports event, and somebody yelled out, Michael Jordan, what do you think about Marcus and Larsa? You happy that they're dating? He never speaks on them. He looked directly at the camera and said, no. So Michael Jordan didn't like it. Larsa acted like for years that it doesn't really mean anything. I didn't know him. I didn't know him as a child. I was married to Scotty, but we didn't really know each other at the liar, liar, liar. It is strange. You married your ex-husband's teammate's son and dated him for years. I think for clout, I think you both used each other. But we found out Michael Jordan didn't like it. So you were looking real silly with that. That was nasty. And so the ship, they show little views, different visions of the ship. They're at this taste kitchen. Kiki's my kind of girl. Kiki ordered everything on the menu. They'll let you do that at a cruise. Cece was mentioning some new cruise rules. One of the ones, like you could get anything and everything, and people would order everything on the menu. Now, the one I travel the most, which is Carnival, the second entree, that's free. The third entree is $5, which is not a lot, but it's enough to stop people from, I'm going to have everything that's on the menu and then not really eating stuff. So we see Kiki. Of course, they are treasured guests because they're doing this free promotion for Sir Richard Branson. So they are both at their respective tables talking about the other group, but in a way that they all seem that they want to make up with each other. I hope they do. I'm tired of this arguing. The only situation that I wasn't ready to be done yet was Julia and Gertie's, because I don't feel that Gertie received a correct apology. And I want to know, what did Andy Cohen's HR? He always brags, we have an HR. So if you got an HR, Andy, what did you do to Julia for attacking one of her coworkers, one of her castmates? Oh, Maddie Saul says that this is a new start for Mighty Mouse. So that's what she's calling Stephanie. Okay. Stephanie apologizes to the ladies. I certainly didn't mean to dangle my plane. Stop lying, Stephanie. You meant to dangle your plane. It didn't go the way you wanted it to. You got upset about it. Alexia put you in your place. Maddie Saw did as well. And I think she's actually holding a grudge, but she can't let them know yet. So she apologizes. I didn't intend to dangle stuff. Maddie Saw says this is a new start for her and Mighty Mouse. I don't believe it. I think something else is going on, y'all. So that was pretty much the end of the episode. As Mama B said, it was a little boring. It was kind of filler. They're in a new location, well, back in Miami. So points for that. But again, not much happened. All of the ladies are featured, so I didn't miss out on seeing anyone, even though I don't care to see Julia, but she's still main cast. I guess they'll have to show her with her mojito. In a preview, we get Stephanie talking tough about Maddie Sal, that she introduces herself as a good friend, but she's really a demon. And if she's coming for me, she better hit a bullseye, because when it's my shot, I won't miss. So now we got Stephanie talking to Adriana. We see Adriana in the shot, bugging her eyes out, but not answering. Stephanie, Adriana's taking this directly back to Maddie Saul. So you are going to get the matchup that you want, because Alexia really is not going to give it to you. I would say Alexia probably is one of the original Mean Girls. She's original cast. She's the Cuban Barbie. She is the one that you'd want to go at, but she didn't give you what you wanted. So now you're going to try to put the line of fire on Maddie Saul, which may not give you what you wanted either. Allegedly, and in my opinion, I think Todd is saying, or some of the other people were saying, that thank you so much. You gave it a 6-2. We're 36 minutes into the live. Thank you so much. That is actually the end of the review, because we did get to the preview. Thank you so much. I appreciate the likes of all the people that have come in, those that are no longer here. Team Replay, you are very special. Thank you so much. This is Kamala Harris. We know what's going on in the news. This is That Little Girl Was Me, y'all. Yeah, this is her. That little girl was me. I bet they wish they had her fixing that problem. She looked like she's about her business. She's about 7 or 8 in that picture. That's when they bust her. She said Joe Biden bust her. She ate him up at that debate, and he ended up having to hire the lady. But I'll probably do another political minute. I'll work on some topics. CC, a moderator, Mama B's also a moderator, came in. She said, have a blessed weekend, everyone. And I do. Hope you all have a blessed weekend. I will see all of you in the YouTube streets. And this is Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 7, episode 14, Friendships. So this was okay. We'll give it a mid. We gave it a 6. Okay. So they need to do it a little bit better next week. They didn't really pass this week. 6 is not a passing grade. Thank you so much, Mama Bees. I appreciate it. I try to switch it up and come up with something else. She loves to tease. So all of y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the YouTube streets. Thank you. Goodbye.